We're going to try some doodle notes. Some people love doodle notes and some people hate them. But for you artistic people or visual people, you might rather enjoy this. Go ahead and get maybe, I don't know, 3 colors, crayons, markers, colored pencils, whatever you want. I chose these colors because I felt like it. And this doodle notes are going to help us give us a visual as to what multiplying by decimals are. A lot of adults I know how to multiply decimals, but they don't really know what it means or what they're doing. So hopefully these visuals will give us a better idea why you're doing what you're doing. So let's go ahead. So far we know the first one. We know how to set up a multiplication problem the traditional method. So for now, we're going to do 63 times 0.5, and we're going to ignore the decimals. And we're just going to multiply using the traditional method. 5 times 3 is 15. Carry the 1. 5 times 6 is 30, plus 1 is 31. Carry the 3. 5 times 0 is 0, plus 3. So we have 315. 63 times 5 is 315. Where does it make sense for our decimal place to go? Well, let's see. I'm taking a half of a very small number. So it wouldn't make sense that I would get 31. It really even wouldn't make sense that I would get 3. It would make sense that I would get 0.3 because that's 0.6 divided by 2. We could also count our decimals. I have 1, 2, 3 places after the decimal point. So I have to move my decimal. Here's my invisible decimal. 1, 2, 3. So it would end up here. My final answer is 0.315. Yay! I'm taking a very small number of a very small number to get an even smaller number. Let's go down to this one. Shade the models below to show 6 times 0.3 and then solve. So this is what is going to actually happen. Well, here I have one whole broken up into 10 by 10 or 100 parts. And so I have 2 wholes and each of them have 100 squares. Well, I'm going to start with 0.3. 0.3 is really 3/10. 3/10 or 30/100. Again, these are doodle notes. You can draw it over. So I'm going to go ahead and shade in one group of 30/100. So here's 10, 20, 30. So here's one group. I'm going to take my next marker. Here's my second group. 10, 20, 30. Here's group number 2. I didn't label my group number 1. Oop. Let's go ahead and do that for the other 6 groups. All right, we've gone ahead and drawn them out. Here are my 6 groups of 0.3. And where does that leave me? I have one whole and I have a partial over here. How many partials? 1/10, 2/10, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8/10, or 80/100, 1.8. And that makes sense because 6 times 0.3, well, 6 times 3 is 18. Move our decimal over 1 point, we get 1.8. So there's a visual of showing a whole number times a decimal. Let's go over here. Shade the model below to show 0.1 times 0.4 and then solve. Well, here I have a decimal times a decimal. This is saying I have 1/10 of 0.4. So, well, let's see. Let's start with 1/10. I'm going to do 1/10 vertically. 1/10, here I have 100 squares. 1/10 is 10/100. So I'll do blue. Here is my 1/10. Boop, there it is. Okay, now let's do the 4/100s. 4/10s or 40/100s. I'm going to do those horizontally. So here is 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 4/10s or 40/100s. And I want to find, okay, so that's there we go. I want to find where they intersect. They intersect at this point right here. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 100. 4 hundredths, or 0.04. So 1/10, I only want a 10th of 0.4. So here's my 0.4, but I only want a 10th of it. I only want a very small portion of it. That's why I get a very small number. So when you're multiplying a small number, meaning under 1, times a decimal under 1, you're going to get an even smaller number, which some kids find counterintuitive at the beginning. Let's go ahead and do this one. A bakery uses 1.3 cups of sugar for each batch of sugar cookies. So 1.3 cups. If they make 12 batches, how many cups? Well, this is a multiplication problem, right? Because I have 12 batches, that's 1.3 plus 1.3 plus 1.3 plus 1.3 plus blah. That is 12 times 1.3. Ooh, let's see, that's really 12 times 13. I'm not really sure what that is on my times table. I'm just gonna go ahead and do some long multiplication. I'm gonna ignore my decimal for now. That's 6, 3, I'm drawing over my flower, oh no. 6, 5, 156. Is that right? 144, yeah, that sounds right. And then how many places am I gonna move my decimal? 1. Boink. 15.6. Does that seem right? 12 batches at 1.3 cups each? Yeah, that's right. Cups of sugar. Yummy cookies. Last one. Find the product of 0.7 times 0.7. Ooh, I know my answer is going to have some sort of a 49 in it because 7 times 7 is 49. Which of these guys works? Can you cross out ones that don't make sense? Okay, those two don't make sense because it's 409 instead of 49. You can't just stick a 0 in the middle. So it could be either A or C. Which one's it going to be? Let's see, I have to move my decimal over 2 places. 1, 2, that means the decimal point would go there. So it has to be C. And that also makes sense from above. If I have a number that's smaller than 1, multiplied by a number that's smaller than 1, I'm gonna get an even smaller number, not a bigger number. 4.9 is bigger than that. So that's why that one cannot be true. There we go. Go ahead and take a moment and color in some of your doodles. Let's see what you come up with.